Hi, team. I'm excited because today we get to discuss what I believe is the ultimate goal of implementing data science in the business. And we're going to get into it right now.
Round one, fight!
Hi, team. My name is Marcus, and I am a management consultant, and I do all things strategy and operations, but I really love to focus on the intersection of data and strategy, AI and strategy, emerging technology and strategy, and how can we really get our minds wrapped around that to improve the way we do work, to improve our businesses, and really to extend the bounds and the realms of what we believe is possible. And today I'm excited because um, I've been really looking into this topic. And I've really been asking a lot of folks what they think and what their thoughts are on the topic. And it's become clear that there are a wide range of reasons why people believe that data science is implemented in the business. They're not necessarily wrong, but what I've found is everything that I hear is really a byproduct, right, of the primary goal that you should have when you are implementing data science in a business. I've asked some coworkers, I've asked some folks abroad, and a lot of folks will say, "Oh, well, it's easy. It's to predict the future, right? Like data science can help us to predict the future, or it's easy. It's to help us to take advantage of Web 2.0, or to automate our business, or to all the things, right? And we're going to get into some of the things that I've heard the most, but in reality, those are not the primary reasons why you implement data science in the business. And I think if we all get around this primary reason, and I'm not the only person that believes this, in fact, some of the inspiration for what you will see today comes from this book that I've started reading called Data Science for Business. It's by Foster Provost and Tom Fawcett. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I cannot wait to get through the entire book. And some of the things that we'll talk about today are inspired by this book. I have some colleagues and mentors who have the same frame of mind from the projects that they have successfully implemented, and I'm excited to share that with you today. But before tell you what it is, I want to set the stage for some of the things that I've heard, right, and the reason why we're even talking about this. And really, when I've talked to folks, they have told me that the goal of data science, is to predict the future. Like I said, a lot of them believe that this is the ultimate goal because, with the way that we can manage big data now and big data 2.0 and the advantages of AI and data science, we can now predict the future. And while that is a much desired and very valuable outcome, that's not it. A lot of folks will tell me it's to automate the business. Because you can use AI to help to do all the things that, or a lot of things that humans would do. And while yes, automating the business is a key thing. And in fact, if you automate the business with AI, that or data science, that model should learn from itself, and that automation should improve over time. That is definitely something that we want to do, but it's not the primary goal of implementing data science in the business. And I've also heard about process optimization. I've also heard, Marcus, it will help us do our processes faster, right? It'll help us do our processes better. And while this is one of the closest things that I've heard, it's still not quite the primary reason for implementing data science in the business. Um, I believe that while those all those things are while they're really important, they're just byproducts, right? And really, the ultimate goal of using data science in the business is to improve the decisions that the business makes. And this is really key to understand and grasp, because otherwise we just get into data science experiments and projects with no true business value, no realized ROI, and they just become experiments, right? I say this because businesses are run through their value streams, and you know you don't have to have an MBA to have heard that phrase or really understand what that means. But really, when we talk about it, value streams are the processes that the businesses use to produce value to the market, to its customers. It's comprised of a lot of decisions and steps, the actions taken as a result of those decisions, right? Or just the actions taken in sequence of other actions, right? And the outcome of that is some value. And companies, they really get their advantage in the marketplace by how well orchestrated and architected their value streams are. If they can make better decisions and they can take steps better and faster, then chances are they can provide more value to the customer and therefore beat out their competitors. And so when you really think about this, this is where we want to be, right at the heart of a business. You want to be exactly where the value is being created. And I like to look at this in the way that the book really presents decisions through the lens of data science. Really, it breaks it down into two categories. And I've taken some liberty and I've really renamed these categories the way that it makes sense to me. So this isn't verbatim in the book, but essentially the book says, hey, decisions are broken down into two categories. They're either decisions through exploration or they're decisions that are repeated consistently. And this is really good because it really gives us two different buckets, but really two different approaches you'll see in a second, and two different expectations for how value will be realized. And what does that mean for the business? And how does that impact the business? And so when you break these down, you can really look at it in the right lens and really understand what your risk is as well, based off the decision that you're looking to improve through the use of data science. And I want to start first by talking about decisions that are made through exploration. These decisions made through exploration is exactly what they sound like, right? If essentially you have to go through the data, you have to explore the data, you have to look through it and do analysis and provide some insights by which you think you can produce additional value, right? And so really what this starts with, I put some things here for you to kind of think about decisions through exploration. It starts with the requirement to explore the data, right? And usually after exploring that data, if you have a good hypothesis about the value you think you can create, it will result in a new insight. And then that insight usually has a process after it where the process owners decide what decisions should be made, what new decisions should be made as a result of this insight. What does this insight now allow us to do that we couldn't do before? Or what does this insight now tell us that we didn't know before? And that's key. It's a non-obvious thing. In the book, they reference Walmart and how Walmart did some exploratory analysis to figure out what should they be thinking about when a hurricane is coming to a city, right? And they didn't know what they should be doing. But when they did look through it, they found certain products that they never thought were the products that people would buy, such as Pop-Tarts and beer, was the number one things that they needed to make sure was well stocked ahead of a hurricane. That's not obvious. And that generated new value to that business. So as you can see there, when it's exploratory, it's going to require for you to do a much more obtuse look at the data. When you do that, you're going to have some new insights. When you have those new insights, then you're going to potentially have a new process, or you're going to augment an existing process significantly, or have a new trigger for those things. You and your business owner, your business process owner, you will come up with what that is based off of what the data tells you, what the data science tells you by having that data-driven decision lens going into the project. And so as you can see, this is going to be really valuable. You can generate new value, generate additional profit for your business with this type of decision that you're using data science to optimize, right? But that's not the only category, right? There's a second category. And that second category are decisions that are repeated consistently. And this is really exciting for most companies, because it's kind of looked at as a low-hanging fruit in some ways, right? It's low-hanging fruit because normally your process that you're targeting to improve, the decisions in it that you're targeting to improve, even if it's just one decision, it's well known. You know exactly what that process is. It may not be super spelled out or documented, but normally it is. In best case scenario, you have a data point for every step and every decision that's in that process. So you can take that data and mine it and come up with new insights or test a hypothesis about how you can improve that process, right? And there's even new industries and products being created around this, such as process mining, where there are applications that you hook into your systems, and they will scan they will download the data, it will go through the data and tell you exactly where your inefficiencies are, tell you exactly where your bottlenecks are, tell you exactly where you should go and look and find for some improvements, right? Because it's that valuable. Here's the reason why it's super valuable. There's this old adage that if you improve 1% every day over the course of a year, over the course of your life, you'll just be amazing. Well, the same thing holds true. That compound interest, that compound effect holds true when you use data science to improve decisions are repeated consistently. It holds true because what happens is you find a process and you find a way to improve it by 1%, maybe less than 1%. But it's a process that is repeated thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of times in a year. And as you can imagine, if you're improving that process that much and it's repeated that many times, that adds up. That provides significant value and ROI back to the business and hopefully to the customer as well. And so this is really one of the places where a lot of companies seek to implement data science, and really where a lot of products seek to implement data science as well as a product. A prime example of this that I saw firsthand, one of my clients, they had a very large team that did credit applications and credit line approvals and did all those things for their customers, right? And it was a very manual process. Every application for credit, whether it was a new customer or not, would come in and it would be reviewed by a warm body. And, God forbid that warm body have a bad day or they're overwhelmed or they're out sick, you would feel that impact to the business and the customer would feel that impact as well. Well, this was a prime example where they implemented AI and they found, hey, look, 80% of the decisions about credit we can automate because those decisions we can distill down to data. We can look at those customers. We can look at these attributes on these customers, and we have a good confidence that the number that they're requesting to buy more product from us is a safe number, and we're going to get that money back with the expected profit. And then these 20 that are more complex decisions, we can use people to review those to make sure that we optimize those decisions. And so that was a prime example, and it returned so much value back to the business. It returned time back to the business because those were things that people were not doing and they could put their time towards higher value processes and decisions. It improved the customer experience. Why? That customer may get an instant approval that they can go out and buy $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 worth of product, and they were able to move their business further, faster, right? And then it also generated profit, and that's what we're in this one, right? It allowed that business to realize profit much faster because they were able to give that line of credit to that customer much quicker, and they bought more product, and you didn't lose that customer. That customer didn't go somewhere else where they can get the line of credit faster. And so this is one of the many ways that you can use data science to improve decisions that are made within the business. I want to hear from you guys. I really think that this is one of the missing lenses to how we look at data science and AI projects and investments. I want to hear from you. Have you taken a data-driven decision lens to your data science project, to your data science capabilities? If you have, I want to hear about it. Put it in the comments. If you are thinking about this, or this is the first time you're hearing this or considering it, I want you to ask me some questions. I love talking about these things and would love to engage with you in the comments. In the meantime, team, this has been great. And I hope that you guys you be well and you stay strategic. And I'll talk to you guys soon.